All right, I'm just taking a walk in downtown Denver, and I don't know, I think these steps are leading over here, but for some reason I'm compelled to walk over here. And here we have the latest Rivian space.
Is it because you saw this Rivian out front and it drew you in?
Maybe it did, but to be honest, I've seen a lot in Denver, but this one with the skis is a great setup. And here we are at Rivian's newest space. They've just opened this in Denver, or as of us filming this, they will open it tomorrow this weekend. And if you haven't seen a Rivian space, this video is for you. The actual experience of buying a Rivian, kind of like a Tesla a decade ago, or Lucid, for those of you familiar with that brand, has been online and digital, and giving it some kind of tangible physical presence has been obviously a priority for them. So right now there's 9 of these spaces with this Denver one. They're hoping to add another one before this year is out. But Denver, I can just tell you firsthand, is a huge market for Rivians, both the R1Ts that Kyle loves and the R1Ss that have come out. I just see them everywhere. I live in Boulder, where Jordan lives. He sees a lot of them as well. Yep. He's filming me, and he and Kyle also checked out the Venice space that Rivian opened 2 years ago. So this space here, though, is trying to basically fit into the area. Here we are in RiNo, which is a big neighborhood in Denver.
RiNo.
RiNo. Okay. I live in Boulder. I'm not super
yeah, you're
hip
not
to
from
all
down
the,
here.
I'm not from down here.
But it stands for River North, and RiNo is a very artsy district, like very lifestyle focused, which really makes it a perfect place for this hub to actually exist.
Yes, Rivian wants their hubs and their spaces to really blend in with the environment, and also they want to kind of just integrate it. And you can see this isn't a spaceship. It's not the kind of, like, I've seen a lot of Tesla showrooms and the Lucid showrooms and malls and stuff too. Rivian's doing that as well, but in places like this in particular, they're trying to give this an open feel. These garage doors, of course, can be opened up when it's warmer. It's starting to just get chilly now as they're launching this, but I can totally see them using this. I also love how we've got this furniture matching the forest green of the R1T. I'm
very nature focused.
Very nature focused. Lots of greenery here. Speaking of greenery, we've got all our plants going on. Lots of use of cork. I would almost think this is a Mazda showroom, but no, of course.
No, it's not. We're not inside the MX-30.
We're not inside the MX-30. We're inside something a little bit more impressive. But yes, the Rivian space here also has, so the T outside here, they've got an R1S inside. They've got a decent amount of square footage here, and let's just kind of walk you around through it. So this vehicle, as they have on demo, is giving people a chance to just get in the vehicle, and it is like stepping into a car dealer. Yes, someone will probably approach you and it will be a sales-oriented conversation, but their goal here is not to make that scary. There's not gonna be people coming at you with paperwork. This is just kind of a place to learn about the brand. They're also expecting a lot of people showing up here to be owners, and we're in Denver, so a lot of people, feels like half the people already have a Rivian, so this will be a great place for events and meetups, and just kind of a place to just have fun with your truck or your SUV, which a lot of owners already do. They've got the Halloween update they just installed on these. So these have a lovely Easter egg where they play a Dracula noise.
Yeah, locking and unlocking. And the way the space is oriented, kind of like the hub in Venice, is just kind of a natural flow throughout the space. Although you can walk to anywhere as soon as you walk in, people will naturally be drawn to, oh, the truck inside, which, unlike Venice, they actually have a truck inside, which is good because it's Colorado and we'll get cold and snow and stuff. But this is the one on display, so they have a T and an S, like Max said, and the way you kind of just like walk around the space is how we'll take you on this tour.
Exactly. And once you see the truck itself, especially in an environment like Colorado, people will wonder, what about my all-terrain capability? What about my winter capability? What about different wheel designs? Well, they've thought of that here. They've got all-terrains, sport wheels, different ones, and you can actually just wheel these around. Kids will probably ride on them.
See what this would look like with the 20-inch all-terrain dark, Max. Can you help me out with that?
Yes, I'd be happy to, Jordan. And here you can line it up. So it's nice to be able to see that. I think the next step, of course, is installing some power tools you can plug into the Rivian and actually jack it and change the wheels. Maybe that's step 2. But for now, I think this is lovely. And it's
They tried to create a space with a lot of tactile, like fungible things you can do. So instead of just looking at a screen configurator and being like, okay, tap, and now there's a digital version of that wheel on the truck, this is actually showing you what it actually looks like in real life with actual spatial awareness.
Yes, everything's tangible, not like an augmented reality sense, but in the sense of like it's actually here. That's rubber I was touching. It was a big heavy wheel. And then here we've got also our colors and design inspirations, and this will look familiar if you've actually had the opportunity to see other Rivian spaces, but they have their interior demos here so you can actually feel what these materials are like. And if you wanted to take a color sample, you could. And they also expect people to take these outside, see what they're like under sunlight. I know if, let's say, in an alternate universe where our friend Colton at Out of Spec Detailing had never seen a Rivian, he would absolutely be doing that. He'd probably bring his scan grip light here and be inspecting this, which he absolutely would be able to do. They've got, their kind of books setting the mood, and then these are actual design inspirations that were used in the vehicle. They also happen to be super topical. I mean, we're talking about Chalk and La Sportiva climbing shoes. We might as well be in a movement gym.
Yeah, so if you guys saw some of the videos Kyle and I have done on Out of Spec reviews back in the day, these are, like Max said, design artifacts used to actually inspire the real color palettes used on the truck. So all these special colors were kind of brought to life by looking at artifacts like these of typically like lifestyle origin, like climbing anchors and climbing shoes and a lot of climbing things, I guess, which is interesting. We asked them if they'd put a climbing wall in here, and they said legal said no.
Yeah, there's a lot of liability concerns there, I think. But these are actual influences for the truck, and they also represent outdoor and activity lifestyle things that people who own these vehicles may often do.
But it's cool because the colors are so unique and special, and it is nice that you can actually take these over here and you can set this down, put it next to two different colors and be like, oh, okay, that's too much green. How about this? Ooh, this is sleek and nice.
Yep, and it's refreshingly low tech. I mean, you're just taking these things out and feeling them.
Once again, instead of a configurator and cork everywhere. That table's not cork, but speaking of that table, that's a cool space where they just want to invite people to come in and work. Sit down in either maybe converse, like it's a round table. You can have a round table discussion with strangers, or you can just sit down and work by yourself if it's quiet in here like it is right now.
Yeah, they've been so nice to clear it out for us, but there were employees just working and chatting here. And that's what will happen when this is actually a running space. People will just hang out here and work. And hey, if you're a Rivian owner, then people may pick up on that and start asking you questions with the idea that this is going to be, I think, a social and inviting space, especially for people who are not just newer to Rivian, but newer, like many of you who may be watching this channel, to electric cars in general. And on that topic, Jordan, I think it's really nice that they have a prominent display with charging, labeling, the kinds of nerdy vocabulary we normally use, like J1772 or CCS Type 1 or NEMA 1450 outlet. They actually just show pictures of it here. So if you want to actually visualize what a home charger looks like, here it is. This is, of course, their official wall charger you can get from their gear shop. But they're going to be more than happy to tell you that home charging is such a big part of life for many EV owners. And if you don't have to depend on DC fast charging, then that's probably the best kind of lifestyle to have with a truck. These kinds of ownership details are the kinds of things they'll just fill you in on you won't get from the Rivian website.
And it's nice because they made this, once again, tactile, so you can actually take the J1772, plug it into the outlet, and just to feel like what that is. Sure, a lot of us think it's not a big deal, where a lot of us have been surrounded by EVs before, but for someone who literally has never had an EV or interacted with one, this makes it a little bit easier, a little bit less scary, especially if you can try it before you buy it. You can even see the outlets and how they look. Some people didn't know what this outlet was. If you hear NEMA 1450, you're like, what does that mean? This is what it means. Some dryers use it. I mean, it's a higher power outlet, 240 volt for household appliances that are bigger. So it helps to have that kind of functionality and tangibility. Another seating area right here, and then there's this cool little space.
This is my honestly favorite part of this specific space, where they have here a big demonstration of potential destinations and charging stops you would make along there. So we've got Big Water, Utah, we've got Santa Fe, New Mexico, and here in lovely Colorado, Crested Butte. So if you were to go camping or to go to any of these, they actually advise the drive mode you would use, like Crested Butte. Well, oftentimes it gets pretty snowy there, especially around now. They tell you the distance of it, the charging stops you'll make, and the range you'll arrive there with. This actually is a familiar looking interface if you use the software in a Rivian vehicle, but here they are just making it physical in space. I think that's super nice and friendly. And of course, even showing you the fast chargers that specifically you'd stop at. This is a feed sort of their owners who are, living lives with their R1Ts and R1Ss. It's the kind of stuff you would see on social media, but they're just displaying it alongside here. And then this is a not a Rivian specific display, but just a lifestyle display of wooden blocks and books and an actual R1S that kids could color in on. And this is the kind of thing where they're expecting, I think, owners or prospective owners to bring their families here and just let them hang out. I think kids are gonna have a great time here. This is so much more of an inviting space than just about any car dealership.
It really is. Usually a car dealer is not a place you'd ever want to take a kid, because what would the kid be doing?
I would never want to put, if I had a kid, I wouldn't want them being on the floor in a car dealer. And yet this is
This is like cozy rugs and like very outdoorsy feeling. Lots of intentional types of books, a lot of design and art and styling, of course plants, some kids' toys, which is also similar to the Rivian hub in Venice. And I'm sure there are other hubs as well, which I'm hoping to get to all of them. And on that note, they really should do a bingo card where you can take your Rivian to every hub and check it off.
Or some kind of passport. I think that might be in the works.
Be awesome, yeah.
Yeah. Here they've got some Rivian merch and stuff here, as you would expect. There's a lot of lifestyle things here, backpacks, jackets, things you might also use in Colorado, specific things like the gear guards for your stuff you'll be storing in the vehicle. Here's a bike frame bag or field kit they have. So lots of useful stuff here, the touch-up paint for different exterior colors. These are the kinds of things you can get from a service center, but they're being shown here to give you just a physical display of it. And interestingly, like they've done in other spaces, I think they want to fill this with local goods, which in Colorado we have a lot of fancy outdoor gear and things you can get. So the idea being they can transition this to highlight local businesses and local artists and folks on these tables.
Yeah, it's meant to be a flexible space where they can have nonprofits come in and run events, or even Rivian enthusiasts can have events. They can start their cruises here. It's meant to be a dynamic space and have arts and crafts with kids like they do in Venice. There's a lot of various functionality. Being kind of an open industrial warehouse space really fits the RiNo vibe, but also really fits a lot of various flexible options. So I like how it's not just a dealership. If you walked in during an event, you might even not realize this is like a Rivian showroom sort of, quote unquote. It's just a place to hang out.
Yeah, place to hang out and maybe learn about a really cool EV that you didn't know about before, and just learn about EVs in general. I think this is a great compliment, again, to Rivian being one of these brands that people read about on the news, they may see on the street, but they're not gonna engage with physically, because as we've seen, they have to scale up production rapidly, and even people who have an order on a Rivian can't always be in person with one. So here's a way for people to actually get that experience, and I think it's really cool. This is going to change over time. I'm sure they'll experiment with it, but I'm so glad to see more Rivian spaces opening up. I think there's just opportunity for more and more and more, but here we are with the first 9, and this being the latest one among them, I think this is going to be really important for them, Jordan.
Yeah, so if you're curious, come down to RiNo and check it out if you're in Denver. Really cool outdoor space and a lot of different things that can happen here. It's a cool area, so you're not just quote unquote only going for Rivian. If you don't want to commit just to Rivian, you can come down here, see lots of cool local businesses, but of course swing by Rivian. This space was very intentional for a lot of reasons, even just the fact that this is looking straight down that street, so they have a really unique sight line. There's a lot of intention that goes into these Rivian hubs. It's not just we're going to slap a showroom in a mall. This is a real cool space to see the truck kind of in its own environment, and there's a lot of options they have in the future with these spaces. So we'll keep you posted. We'll hopefully have events here, maybe an out-of-spec meetup. I don't know. Let us know in the comments what you want us to do at this space, but until then, we're just gonna check it out, enjoy the people here. Any last thoughts?
Yeah, no, everything you said is great, Jordan. I think people who are worried about this being a pushy sales experience, Rivian has more than enough of reservations to know what to do with and scale up their trucks as is. So this is really just an opportunity for learning at the moment. And over time, I'm sure this will pitch more into that kind of, let's figure out how you are going to get into an R2. But at the moment, this is just learning what Rivian is, what the brand is, what electric vehicles are. That's what we need right now still.
And they do drives here. You can reserve them online, or you can just show up. They'll have spots for on-site ones as well. So if you're curious about the truck but not wanting to commit to anything, just come and check it out. You can sit in the truck. These ones on display are meant to be played with. Literally, they said kids can crawl through the gear tunnel. You can mess around with the new software updates. and just try to experience the truck a little bit more tangibly than looking at it online.
Yeah, maybe they can do what Kyle has done and incorporate overlanding rooftop tents and other things on the demo ones they have. All kinds of opportunities there. But thanks for filming me on this one, Jordan, and thank you all of you for watching. If you have more questions about what's going on here, let us know. With the Rivian space specifically in Denver and Rivian strategy overall, I think more EV brands need to adopt this kind of approach. It's so friendly, it's so inviting, and man, I want to order an R1T right now.
Let's do it.
Okay. See ya.